Today, we do have a constitutional obligation to pass a balanced budget, but it is our responsibility that we pass a budget that is reflective of our Delaware values, not one that sacrifices community services. While we have made progress recently, we cannot pass a budget in good conscience at this time. By passing this continuing resolution, we will give legislative leaders the time necessary to do our job and put Delaware first. This continuing resolution will ensure that the lights stay on, road work continues, paychecks get sent out, and nonprofits and fire companies that provide invaluable services to our state continue to receive their funds.
What we're going to do is try to just regroup and see whatever we can come up with to get this budget done. But a budget that's going to benefit the state of Delaware and not deal with something that's political. I think the best thing is we're all very tired, and in order to make sense of anything and tempers don't fly, that we take this break. And it gives us a chance to, settle down, think about things, and then come back and do the job that we're required to do.
Not expecting big cuts. The question is, are we going to reinstate some of the cuts that we did? Because our governor proposed a budget that was half cuts, half revenue. We did not get there. So, our objection on the Democratic side is to make sure it was a balance between cuts and revenue. And right now it's not balanced. So that's the issue that we're dealing with. There's a lot of cuts. We had to cut grant and aid, which is services a lot of people in the state of Delaware, and it's difficult to do that. And as you saw down here, all the fire companies and all the nonprofits are down here. They rely on that money, and we have an obligation to them, and we need to figure out what our next path forward is so that we can reinstate some of that funds, because it does benefit Delawareans.
Rather than be obstructionists, we introduced the actual grant and aid bill that we wrote. We took off the taxes that were attached to it, which was creating a lot of angst for a lot of folks. And then we actually introduced a resolution and a separate bill that would provide the adequate funding to make it actually happen. So we introduced it and solved the problem on the funding side and gave our rate up front. No, didn't go to any closed door thing, not trading back and forth. So here's the way to do that. The other side concurred on that, but no action was actually taken.
The people who voted for me put me here to ensure that we would have long-term changes that would put Delaware on the course for fiscal stability and success. And so the two things that I'm most concerned about is making sure that we have a mechanism when if we get good results from the budget smoothing study and the fiscal control, that we can make sure that we actually enact those changes instead of ignoring them.
So everything stays in place, and we're able to continue, operating the state of Delaware. And we've got 2 days to do it, and if we don't, we would have to do another continuing resolution or balance our budget, which I'm pretty optimistic that we'll get it balanced.
What's going to change between now and then? I really don't know. If you find that out, would you mind picking the phone up and calling me? Because that's the big question. That's the $400 million question as to what will actually change between now and then. Because we've made some very good faith efforts. We actually went away from the concept that this is our best and final, and even compromised beyond that. And that's a tough thing to do, because when people put the faith in you and you say this is your best and final, to back off of that is maybe questions what you really were doing in the beginning. So we were trying hard. We didn't get there. So I'm disappointed. I truly am.